So as the Last of Us Part 2 reviews keep coming out, fans are very upset, disappointed, and frustrated with this game because, let's be real, Last of Us Part 2, this game is trash. But the big thing is that, of course, as usual, leave it to the Puritan media to come in and to attack the fans because they don't like a game that they obviously shilled for. Ugh. Nobody surprised the Puritan media would be doing this. No one at all. Hey, what is going on, everybody? How are you all doing today? I hope you all are having a wonderful and fantastic day today, and if not, hopefully you all will have a better tomorrow. So, the Puritan media are attacking the fans, as usual, to no one's surprise, because, they shilled hard for this game, giving it, 100s mostly around the board, and, look at all these articles here. Last of Us Part 2, creators say diversity in games is essential, and then here's another article right here. The Last of Us Part 2's queer representation is groundbreaking. Is it enough? And it's not shocking at all to see them come in to defend their precious Last of Us Part 2. And they go back to their typical attack the fans mode because how dare you have an opinion that's different from ours? That's how they act. And of course, they stated Last of Us 2 is a masterpiece. 10 out of 10s mostly around the board, because it had the narrative they wanted in it. And I gotta make a shout out to Gore9th Yusa, because he made this meme and it's absolutely fantastic. So shout out to you there. Great meme representing the shill media. But Forbes had to come in here, of course, and they stated The Last of Us Part 2 is getting predictably user score bombed on Metacritic. Oh yeah, of course you'd come in there and say that. It's funny because just the other day, they had an article talking about how you should watch out for the actual critics and their reviews, and they were complaining because they didn't get their free copy. They didn't get a free copy sent to them. So they were already talking about the problems of the game. But now, of course, they're going after the fans because, they always have to blame the fans whenever, something like, for example, a game like Last of Us 2, whenever it's a terrible game. Of course, because the fans' opinion differs from their own, oh yeah, that's who they have to blame. They can't blame the game for being actually terrible. No, they have to blame the fans. It's always the fans' fault. So that's what they do. Well, we all should have seen this coming. The Last of Us Part 2 has only been out for a few hours, and yet there's already a war raging over Metacritic. The game is the newest battleground for user score flopping of a major release, where it has a 3.4 out of 10. By the way, that's a 3.3 now. Score, as opposed to its 9.5 out of 10 critical consensus, which puts it at one of the top reviewed games of the generation. Well, yeah, I wonder why that is. Oh, that's right, because the shill media was giving it automatic 10s for the most part. Oh, and then also you were against the critics, hilariously enough, because you didn't get your free copy. But now you're going after the fans. Seems like you're backpedaling. Yeah, no one's surprised you do that, Forbes. I am already seeing this being used as ammo for the, critics are so out of touch with mainstream audiences. That's because critics are out of touch with mainstream audiences. I mean, they don't care about games. That doesn't matter to them. As long as it fits their narrative, that's what's important. If it doesn't fit their narrative, oh yeah, they're going to just say it's terrible. That's how they work. They don't really care about the games they review. They never have. That's the big thing about them. They just sit over here and they're just like, oh, well, it doesn't fit our narrative, so get it out of here. It's terrible. That's how they work. That's how they've always worked. And then they shill hard for the stuff that fits their narrative so they can continue to get free games and other goodies from these companies. That's exactly what they do. That's how they work. That's how they've always been. I mean, that's to no one's surprise. And then, of course, they'll attack the fans whenever, the fans don't like something that they said over here and they were shilling so hard for. They say that's the fans' fault. Because that's who they're always against. They're always against the fans. And they say, oh, well, how could the mainstream be out of touch? Because you don't care about what you review. That's clearly obvious. And then you just go after the fans. You blame them whenever the game or the movie's bad that you liked, that you shilled for. That's how it works, mainstream media, and you know it. Why are people flopping the game? There are likely 3 reasons. Now, of course, you'll see this a lot. 1, the game's prominent use of trans and LGBT characters. There's no problem with that. Nobody's had a problem with that. Nobody's complained about that. But that's the argument they use. They tried to say that fans have a problem with that. No, they don't. There's not a single person who had a problem with Ellie. Never have I once seen anyone complain about Ellie being into girls. Not once. Nobody cares about that. In fact, people love Ellie's character, so that's not a problem. But it's the typical excuse they use, to try to say that that's the problem fans have. That's how they always are. But that's not a problem at all, and nobody cares. Just saying. The spoilers for the game that leaked out ahead of time were context-free. Many people did not like the plot turns revealed. Yeah, because they were terrible. I mean, what happened to Joel? With that mad golf swing? Are you kidding me? Nobody liked that. Nobody was a fan of that happening. I mean, you gotta be kidding me. What happened to Joel? Nobody's happy about that. That was terrible what they did to Joel. I mean, it was terrible what happened, also with the plot in general. I mean, that plot is just awful. And characters completely act out of character. It was terrible. Perhaps some who have played the initial hours and don't like the game, albeit scoring it a 0 out of 10 for clunky controls after a few hours seems extreme. Well, there's more than just that. It's not just clunky controls, but clunky controls does contribute to it. Some people did have a problem with that. I do not recommend you read the user reviews as they are full of spoilers. Well, that's kind of the point of reviews, isn't it? To kind of, go over the game and the pros and cons to it. I mean, yeah, there's spoiler-free reviews, but a lot of times when you look up reviews, you're going to, kind of hear about the whole story for the most part, unless it's actually stating spoiler-free. Just saying. It's kind of the point of a review. I can't say this is an organized campaign because anytime you say that you get asked to point to one specific organizer, which is rarely possible, but I do know a number of angry gamer YouTuber types that have been ranting about the game since the leak, so I would not be surprised to count some of their viewers among the user floppers here. Oh yeah, of course you would go to blaming YouTubers, as well as their audiences, because what is it that shill media does? They attack the fans, they attack YouTubers, and they attack YouTubers' audiences. That's who the shill media always goes to attack. They're always the first targets. And, it's all because, oh look, they have a different opinion than us. Oh, they're bad, we gotta go after them. That's the way they act. So of course they're gonna come after fans, YouTubers, and audience of YouTubers. That's not right, and that's never how it should be, but of course, expect that from the show media, because they always do that. Do I think that, yes, everyone must agree that The Last of Us is a 9.5 out of 10 like most critics? No, and I do think that it's worth examining some critical, non-scored reviews of the game from the likes of Polygon, Kotaku. Polygon and Kotaku? You sure about that? Because Polygon and Kotaku, I can tell you, they are not reliable sources at all whatsoever. I mean, that's a joke in itself, if anything, because, like I said, you can't trust Polygon or Kotaku. While surprisingly, Polygon did actually say they didn't like The Last of Us Part 2, which I thought they would be all over this game. But surprisingly, they didn't like it. That was one thing that was a shock to me. However, this is not your usual critics versus fan divide. Are you sure about that? Because that's exactly what's going on right now. I mean, critics are attacking the fans right now because they don't like the game. That's exactly what's happened. That's what you're doing right now. I mean, seriously, Forbes. That's what you're doing. This is very clearly 0 to 10 flopping by thousands of players who have only played a few hours of the game or have not played it at all, basing their entire scores on a few leaked cutscenes or plot points. Yeah, well, the game's leaked. I mean, we knew the plot. I mean, people were infuriated over the Joel scene, and understandably and rightfully so. I mean, that scene's awful. I mean, you got that golf pro coming in there with that mad golf swing. I mean, who wasn't frustrated by that one? Who wasn't infuriated? I mean, seriously. And obviously, the story had been leaked. We knew what the plot was, and that was just frustrating, but it was also enough to tell us that this game is trash and not to buy it. I mean, the leaked cutscenes were enough to tell you whether this game is going to be good or not. And considering that the plot had been leaked, yeah, it told us everything. But of course, leave it to the shill media to also come in there and say, of course, massive babies are already review flopping The Last of Us Part 2. Here's the thing about that. People, which there are reviews on there, where people are upset with this game. For those that genuinely played it, as well as for those who had seen the leaked cutscenes, saw the plot, people are upset with this game. They're sad to see what this game became. This game is trash, and people know it. People are upset with it. Many people have even taken to Twitter, and this is what some of the people were stating. Yeah, I'm sorry, but The Last of Us Part 2 story is absolute effing dog crap. WTF is that ending? I thought it would change my mind even after the leaks, but oh boy, how wrong I was. Gameplay and graphics, on the other hand, is phenomenal. Sad the story sucks. And another person came out and stated, the writing in The Last of Us Part 2 is effing dog crap. They completely ruined the entire franchise 1 hour into the game. I literally don't care what happens after that one scene. I was originally mad at the worker for spoiling the game. Now I understand. F you, Naughty Dog. And I mean, he's absolutely right. I mean, Last of Us Part 2, as we already know, completely ruined as a game. I mean, 100 T Frosty is absolutely right. And here's a big thing about this guy's statement here on Twitter, is that when you look at this guy's summary, and this is a big thing here, he actually has a big following. So, that's going to alert a lot of people about The Last of Us Part 2. And, thing is that everybody cared about these characters. Well, at least Joel and Ellie, for example. People cared about them. And then when you ruin them the way you do, of course people are going to be upset. I mean, and that's exactly what Naughty Dog and Neil Cuckman did. And this is what people think now. You have this person here saying fans talk about The Last of Us versus fans talk about The Last of Us Part 2. And of course, The Last of Us is supposed to be the happy SpongeBob, and The Last of Us Part 2 is supposed to be the grouchy old SpongeBob. Oh, I mean, that's a good example. And then another good statement here was this. Society, if The Last of Us 2 didn't exist. Oh, it would be like this futuristic, society, apparently. Oh, that's too good. And then, of course, another person stated, good things about The Last of Us Part 2. Graphics, cinematography, acting, world, Ellie and Joel, obviously. Bad things. Abby, spicy scene, lazy written characters, lazy written story, meh gameplay, not Rilt improves, and Abby. Yeah, because, everybody hates Abby. But of course, leave it to the Puritan media, because, they're going to come in there and defend Naughty Dog, Neil Cuckman, and Sweeney, and, they wonder why we don't trust them. Well, this is exactly why, because you attack us. You try to push your narrative in our face and you attack us. This is exactly why nobody trusts the Puritan media. But anyways, let me know what you think about this entire situation down below. Subscribe to the channel if you are new here, and make sure you are still subscribed, because YouTube is unsubscribing people from all their favorite channels. So make sure you are still subscribed to all your favorite channels. Hit the video with a like, and also be sure to share the video on social media. Spread the word and get it out there. It's greatly appreciated, and it really helps out the channel a lot. Also, be sure to follow me on Discord. We have a wonderful community there. Not only that, but it will keep you up to date on when the newest videos will be released, as well as any other upcoming events in the near future. So be sure to follow me on Discord. The link is in the description down below. But anyways, I hope you all have yourselves a wonderful and fantastic day today. And remember, if today was not a good day, tomorrow could always be better. Take care of yourselves and everyone around you. And have yourselves a good one out there, everybody.